Hey, slow down.
Greetings everyone. So we're taking a break from the house build today to do some electrical here at the house. We're getting the hot tub delivered on Wednesday, and so I need to have the electrical service set up and ready for when the hot tub gets delivered. So one of the things I found when I was checking code and whatnot, the disconnect for the hot tub, in this particular one, it needs a 2-circuit disconnect. There's a 20 amp and a 30 amp. We are getting the hot spring beam model hot tub. So there's a 20 amp and a 30 amp line that needs to go to that hot tub. And so when I was looking up the breaker location and whatnot, it seemed like it had to be more than 6 feet away from the hot tub, which wouldn't allow me to put it on the wall back over here where the barbecue is now, because I would be too close to the hot tub. So I'm gonna have to mount it over here on this wall, which I didn't really want to do because it's kind of where we put all of our garbage cans full of firewood and whatnot. And I can't mount it around the corner because the code says the disconnect for the hot tub has to be within sight distance of the hot tub itself. So let's get started, probably with mounting the circuit breaker here for the hot tub.
He's not thrilled with this job. I think he'll like it when he's soaking in it, though.
All right, we got the breaker panel mounted.
See all those tracks? Those are bear prints. They're back.
So we got the box mounted, and next we'll have to install the ground bar. Why they don't come with ground bars is beyond me. You know, typically this is not a service entrance size breaker panel, so it wouldn't be like you're bonding the neutral and the ground in this box ever. So let's get this ground installed on the box, because we are not bonding the neutral and the ground here because that's already done back at the main breaker panel. So there's 2 little silver stickers in here, and that's where you line up. These screws will go through the grounding bar right into where those silver stickers are. All right.
Want me to do that one? Your little fingers.
Hoping it lines up. Doesn't look like it though. All right. That's usually where it goes. I wonder if on this one if it's supposed to be down here. Doesn't line up there either.
So the box was not drilled properly for the ground bar, and maybe that's typical. Doesn't seem to make sense, but he went off to the hardware store to pick up another drill bit, because frustrating thing with working on the house where you live is that all your tools are down at the house where you're building. So
We might not be recording today.
So I'm going to stop here to rant a little bit. See, I'm the type of person, I will read the technical bulletins and whatnot on anything I buy, make sure I'm getting the right amperage, I'm getting the right parts to match up, getting the right fan speeds, you name it. So when I looked at this Siemens disconnect box, and I knew I needed to add a ground lug or a ground bar, and the box says you need the GB10 bar. So that's what I bought. And as you can see, I was struggling to make it fit because the holes don't line up. So the more I look at this, I think the holes are actually drilled for the GB14, even though the technical bulletin says it needs to be the GB10. Because there's another drill hole down much further where if you added 4 more ground spots on that bar, it would probably line up. So that stuff drives me nuts. So now I either have to go buy the 14, which I don't know if it's going to fit or not, or I have to drill. So I'm going to drill a little pilot hole. It says it's supposed to be 0.147 of an inch diameter, and that is the closest I can get is 9/16, which is a 0.140. So I'm hoping that'll be the right size hole, and I've marked it, and so now I'm going to drill that. All right, there we go. Imagine that it works. So, if you happen to be getting this model, and I'll have to look up what the model is, but don't believe him when he says you need the GB10 ground bar. All right, let's get the knockouts out of the bottom. Alright, there's one. And now I gotta be careful with this one because it's a multi. Alright, next I'm going to lay out the holes to go through the decking. Under the deck, there's a ledger board going this way, and it has 1/2 inch spacers behind it. So I basically need to be more than 2 inches out away from the wall. And I'm going to just use the grooves of the T111 siding to measure where my center line is going to be. So that one is 2 1/4 inches over. And this one is 2 3/4 over for that knockout. Come on, lock. 2 3/4. And I have 3/4 conduit, so it's about 1 inch thick total. So I will probably come out 2 3/4 out, maybe for the center of my hole. All right, and if I did that right, I should have about a 1/4 inch space between that ledger and the hole I'm going to drill. Looks like we have success.
It just seems so wrong. He's drilling through the deck. All right,
so let's work on getting the conduit bent, come down and bent out so we can go down through the deck. So I have about 3 feet down to the deck. Well, it is 3 feet. And then I've got, they're 2x8 stringers on the deck. And so I want this conduit to come down, and then I want a 90-degree bend, and it's going to run along the bottom of those joists over to where the hot tub is. So it turns out to be just shy of 3'9" to the bottom of those when you add up everything. But I'm going to add a little bit because I have to do a little jog here also after I come through the deck. So I'm going to start my 90-degree bend at 4 feet. So the offset from the hole to the knockout in the box, the center of the knockout in the box is 1 inch off the wall, and that is 2 3/4 inch to the center off the wall. So I'm gonna have to do a 1 inch offset, or I'm sorry, 1 3/4 of an inch offset. So after I come up to this, it'll come back and it'll get in the knockout in the breaker box. So I got my conduit bent and it looks like it's going to work. So what I want to do now is I'm going to be mounting the conduit when it runs horizontally under the deck to this unistrut. So I want to get a piece of unistrut mounted underneath so I know where to cut off the EMT. So I mounted my first piece of strut under there, and the pipe is directed out the distance it's going to go. I just want to clamp this in, and then I'll be able to get the height where I need to cut it off for the breaker panel up there. So when the EMT, the male EMT adapter clamps on, the conduit needs to be about a 1/2 inch shorter than the height of the box for this to fit tightly. So I'm going to measure this off at the level of the box, and we'll cut a 1/2 inch shorter. All right. it up too if you want to feed that in.
Okay. A little more. A little more.
Let it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So I'm going to have to do this once more. A little different offset. The knockout on this side is out a little farther, so it won't be quite as much of an offset, if any. And I'll get this other one, and then I'll bring it back afterwards. This side, the EMT is going to go down, and then I'm going to have an LB fitting so I can go into the house. So I got it marked out that the top of my hole is at 6 inches down from the trim board. I had 6.5 inches to play, but this will give me a little clearance just in case this trim board isn't perfectly level. So let's poke through to the basement. All right, so now I'm going to mark where I need to cut the conduit. So the EMT, or the LB will go right into the house. There's my cut right there. Next, I'm going to run conduit out of the bottom of the breaker box. There's a knockout right here that I'm going to use, and it's going to come straight down to an LB that looks like the one that's here, and poke in under the house. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll bring you back when that's finished. All right, there's the new LB going up, and now I just got to go finish the line going from the new hot tub sub panel over to where the hot tub goes, and then we can start pulling some wire. So I need to extend this line out a little farther, and then I'm going to switch to the seal tight or liquid tight so I can flex that up through the deck. The electrical location for the hot tub is going to be right about where that header is that we use to reinforce the deck where the hot tub's going to sit. So I'll probably run the conduit just a little bit short of that, and then I'll put on the liquid tight. I got the 6-foot section of conduit or EMT added, and 2 more brackets, and then I also added the flex line that's gonna turn and go up straight up under the hot tub into the electrical box. I left it a little long, and I'm not going to drill a hole in the deck yet until I know exactly where the hot tub ends up, but that'll be all ready to go. Let's pull some wires, and we'll just leave them long hanging out of that end so they could match up in the control box. All right, let's get this fish tape started. All right. Woo. Sounds like freedom.
I don't know if anybody else could hear that in the background, but I've got some maybe target practice happening. All right. I'll go watch for it up top.
Sure.
Yeah, you're close. All right, we're good.
All right.
That's satisfying. Woohoo!
So I had put a little bit of tape on that. Sometimes it helps get it past the couplings and the other fittings that are along the conduit. So I got the wires all set up on the fish tape. I've got a black, white, red, and green for each circuit. One's a 20 amp circuit, so I have a set of 12 gauge wires, and the other is a 30 amp circuit, so I have a set of 10 gauge wires. So let's start feeding those in and see if we can pull them out to where that flex line is. All right, I'm gonna go down there and start pulling the fish tape, and Kerri's gonna feed the wires in.
You know what's nice about this project? Unlike our little house build project we have going on, this one feels like it's productive. In 2 days' work, we're going to have something to show for it. We're going to have a hot tub to soak in. I'm so excited. Okay, slow down. Okay. We got about 3 feet left.
How much?
About 3.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you still have about 3 feet. I'm sorry.
I haven't made it out of the tubing yet.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. I think I'm real close.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. You can keep going.
All right.
You got about 18 inches on the shortest piece.
You said 18 inches?
On the shortest cut, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I would.
Perfect.
Okay, cool.